Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to your Monday Maths lesson. Your learning objective for today is to be able to convert between centimetres and millimetres. So in this lesson today, we're actually going to whiz through not one lesson, but two maths lessons, okay? So it's chapter 5 of your Maths No Problem books. I know you don't have them, but just so you know, it's chapter 5 and we're looking at measurement this week, okay? So we've looked at percentages and now we're moving on to measurement. Okay, so have a go at your in focus task. Pause the slide here, okay, and have a go. He's measuring the dimensions of a bookshelf. Now you can see he's got millimetres and centimetres in there. So think about the first step that you are going to have to do. Give it a go and then we'll go through it on the next page. The first thing we need to know, Year 6, in order to work this out is how many millimetres are in a centimetre, and then we can look at how many centimetres are in a metre. So the first thing you need to know is that 10 millimetres make up 1 centimetre. So if you have a centimetre ruler in your house, you'll notice there's lots of little lines in between each centimetre. So in between the 1 centimetre and the 2 centimetre, or the 0 centimetres and the 1 centimetres. If you count, there are 10 little lines in between. They are your millimetres. So if you're ever stuck, count the little lines in between, okay? So in order to convert centimetres to millimetres, you need to multiply by 10. So if we were then converting millimetres into centimetres, you would do the inverse and you would divide by 10, okay? Now, if you look at how many centimetres are in a metre, there are 100 centimetres in a metre. So if you are converting that, think about which way you would multiply and which way you would divide. Okay, so let's look at the Let's Learn and the different methods that they have done. So we know that there's 1 centimetre in millimetres, so if we want to convert centimetres into millimetres, we need to times by 10. But here we're looking at millimetres into centimetres, so we need to divide by 10. 1 divided by 10 is 0.1. Think about that place value chart, and if you're dividing, it's getting smaller and there's 1 0, so it's going to move 1 place past the decimal point. Okay. 2 millimetres is therefore 0.2 centimetres, so 12 millimetres, again 12 divided by 10 is 1.2 centimetres, okay? 20.5 centimetres in millimetres, again always remember 1 centimetre is 10 millimetres, okay? So half a centimetre is 0.5, so half a centimetre is 5 millimetres, 10 centimetres is 100 millimetres, and 20 centimetres is 200 millimetres, so you are multiplying by 10 here, okay? So to get from centimetres to millimetres, you multiply. To get from millimetres to centimetres, you divide. Okay, have a go at your guided practice now. I know you won't be able to measure the shapes unless you print the work off. Okay, so don't worry too much about getting a really accurate measurement. I just want you to have a go, okay? This is in the resources section of your assignment, Year 6, and I just want to draw your attention to the fact that it's asking you to calculate the perimeter of each shape, okay? So now, if you know the perimeter, then great, but if you don't, it's the around the shape, okay? So you need to be adding all the sides together, okay? It's not area where you multiply the length by the height, okay? It's where you measure all around the outside of the shape, so every single side of the shape. And it's asking you to measure the length of the sides in millimetres and centimetres. Now you could do it in centimetres and then you could times it by 10 to get it into millimetres if you didn't want to do two lots of measurement. All right, but remember it's asking you to give the perimeter in centimetres. My class, you might be able to give the perimeter in both. Think about your units as well for perimeter. Okay, pause the slide and give that a go, and then we'll go through the answers on the next slide. Okay, so don't worry if you didn't get these exact, because I know it's really hard to be measuring, and some of you, if you don't have a ruler, don't worry, okay? But looking at the perimeter, so you've got your measurements in millimetres and centimetres, and then you've got the perimeter in centimetres. Okay, just pause and have a quick look, maybe mark your work, check it, see if you have gone wrong, where you've gone wrong, and then we can move on. Okay, so we're going to go on to lesson 2 because this is really, really similar, okay? And I want you to look at this in focus. So the body mass index, or BMI, tells if a person is overweight. To calculate your BMI, you need to know your height in metres. Write each person's height in metres. Now, it was on the first slide, so if you do need to rewind the lesson, have a look how many centimetres are in a metre, okay? And see if we can work that out. What are we multiplying or dividing by? Pause here and then we can go through it on the next slide. Okay, so to convert centimetres to millimetres, we know that we had to multiply by 10, but here 1 metre is 100 centimetres, okay? So you would be dividing here by 100 for some of these. Let's have a look. See if you can work out 80 centimetres as 1 metre. So if you're converting centimetres into metres, you would be dividing by 100. It's going to get smaller, okay? 1.72 metres, if you're trying to find the centimetres, you would multiply it by 100, okay? Give that a go, pause. These are all in your resources, by the way, as well, so you can download them and write them. And then we will go through the answers. Okay, so you can see exactly 80 divided by 100 was 0.8. It moves 2 places, okay, which makes it 0.8. 108 centimetres, okay, again, dividing by 100 to get into metres, 1.08. All right, notice in question 2 it's written 1 metre 72 centimetres, but you can write it as 1.72 metres. That's also okay, yeah? Or 172 centimetres, that's also okay. All right, the same for the last one. Making sure you've used equal, greater than, or less than. So 1 metre 5 centimetres is equal to 1.05 metres. 1 metre 70 centimetres is greater than 1.07 metres. All right, and then the last one was 1 metre 9 centimetres or 1.09 metres. Okay, so you've got all 4 of your workbook pages up to be doing, and they are in your resources section. Okay, don't panic, just get through as many as you can. My class, there's a challenge for you at the end. Mr. Force's class, if you can get onto it, fantastic. Okay, I will be going through these at the end, or the answers will be on the next slide for you to have a look at and check your work, but when you submit your assignments, I'll be looking at it anyway, so don't worry too much. So this was your first worksheet, okay? And this was millimetres to centimetres. So again, millimetres, you are dividing by 10 to get back into centimetres. So you should have divided 53, 15 and 82 by 10. On the next one, you were multiplying by 10 because you were going from centimetres into millimetres, all right? And then again, you had another measuring exercise and you had to do millimetres and centimetres, all right? Don't worry too much if you didn't get the exact perimeter measuring. I know it might be difficult if you're doing it on a screen. All right, the important thing is that you got whatever your answer, you were able to do it in millimetres and in centimetres. Okay, and then worksheet 2. So you were converting from centimetres into metres, so you were dividing by 100 here. Remember, there's 100 centimetres in a metre. All right, and then on the next question, you were multiplying by 100. All right. And then on question 3, you were doing a mix, okay? You had 1 metre, 68 centimetres, which we know is 1.68, and then you were multiplying it, okay? And again, the same for question 4. It was question 5 where we had to do the equal to, greater than, or less than. If you needed to work those out, so convert them both into metres or both into centimetres to work it out, that's absolutely fine. And the last one, well, it's your height, so your answers might vary. Be interesting to see how tall some of you are and whether you are the same height as me yet, because we know that's not allowed till you leave year 6. Okay, problem solving. There is a Monday mastery sheet in your resources that you can do. And submit it into your assignment and I will have a look. Well done, yes. These are the answers for you if you do want to mark your own, but again, I will be looking at them in your assignments as well. There's also a challenge 2 for my class as well, who, if anybody would like to have a go, I know there's some people that should definitely be having a go, and I'll be looking out for those. I've given loads of head teachers awards out so far, year 6, but I'd love to give out some more, so make sure you're keeping up with that work. Okay, and then there's some more challenge answers for you to mark your own.